Okay, I'd like to call the joint, that turn? Joint Special School Building Committee to order. We're at the Nashua High School North Boardroom. It's Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, and it's 7:04 PM. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Sure. Alderman Dowd.
Present?
Alderman Wilshire. Here. Ms. Timmons is not here. Alderman Sullivan.
Here.
Alderman Lopez is not here. Ms. Raymond.
Here.
Ms. Bishop is here. That's me. Ms. Gilio is not here. Ms. Daniels-Williams is not here. Ms. Prin is not here, but a special guest is Mr. Johnson.
Here. Although now I'm a member of the JSSBC from our last,
Oh, the list isn't updated. So it's Ms. Gilio's off and you're on.
all right.
So Ms. Gilio is no longer on this committee.
Ah,
It's Mr. Johnson.
I mean, I guess I did know that since you announced it at a meeting. I've just forgotten.
I don't remember what I say 5 minutes ago.
all right, so
So we have a quorum.
yeah, they're slated for the pledge, so. Will the clerk please say the prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be Ms. Raymond.
Okay. Almighty God, we have the high honor and serious duty to manage the educational affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all of our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I don't think I want to do this. That done. Okay. So if there are no objections, I will move to waive the readings of the December 19th, 2024 meeting and place them on file. So we were going to have a limited update on school projects, but Harvey isn't here. So I may do that myself. There's a couple things I want to bring up tonight. So at Maine, Dunstable, Birch Hill, things are going along very well. They're doing at both schools, doing the final work on the gymnasiums. They're due for turnover in February. The floors have all been resanded, the baskets are hung, and they were putting the padding up. The Maine Dunstable will be a little behind because we're going to be installing the new elevator during a school break. Also in the spring, we'll be putting in the new transformer outside. So that has to have a pad laid, and Eversource has to pick up their transformer and put our transformer in. The old transformer was a rental from Eversource. So both projects are moving along ahead of schedule and under budget, so it's working well. The other thing, if there are no objections, for the new Searles security vestibule update, we finally have a number, and the total cost is going to be about 2.1 million. We have about 700,000 left in the middle school account after Dr. Crisp. So if there are no objections, I'm going to put in, and also in the middle school project, we have $2,744,506.58 left in the budget that has been bonded, and I'll put in legislation to move approximately $1 million, we'll get the exact numbers, to cover the cost of New Searles construction. We had a meeting at Harvey going over all the costs and the design, and I think we're all set to go. Mr. Smith, did you want to add anything to that, or?
No, well, I think the actual number we're looking for is a little over 1.8 million that we'll need. The 2.1 is Harvey's construction cost, but then
Oh,
we have,
that's right, yeah.
but then we have soft costs to take care of. So the total right now is 2.53 million for the work. And again, we have 676,000 left over. So the funds we needed is 1.853 billion.
And then there's also, of the $10 million bond, the last bond that was passed on the middle school project, they only bonded 6 million. There's 4 million left that will not be bonded. So that will assist in the spending for FY '25 from the bonding perspective for the city.
So can I have a little bit more clarity on the numbers? So it's 2.53 for the New Searles project,
Total.
and then total, and almost 700,000 was left from Dr. Crisp? No, from the middle,
The total vestibule project,
the total vestibule project. So that's how much is left in that pot. And then you're going to move the remaining 1.8, you as in the Board of Aldermen, to make us up to the 2.53 million,
so the,
right? Because you said we're about 2 million under budget from the one bond, and then we have another 4 that we're not touching at this point.
right.
Okay,
So since the bond was written for school use, it can only be used for some school use. So the Board of Aldermen will have to vote to allow that money to be transferred from the middle school project to the security vestibule project.
and then at that point, how much would be left in the middle school project bonds? 4 million from the 10 million bond, and then how much for the other bond, though? I forget what it was, 160 million.
Anybody a Rain Man that can do the,
Don't walk around with these spreadsheets in your head. Because I don't walk around with these spreadsheets in my head, but,
No, if you look in your package, there's a financial sheet for the middle school project.
okay, yep.
And
at
that
the end.
shows the far right-hand column, remaining balance of 6.4 million.
Okay,
So again, 4 million of that was never bonded. So
gotcha.
it's the 2.4
So
that's
it's
left
2.4.
over.
And then
Still
of
have
that,
some invoices coming in, but so that number will change.
so if we, of that 2.4, if we put 1.8 over to vestibules, that will then leave the 600,000 left, and that should cover whatever invoices are left?
Correct.
Okay.
And we'll still have money left over at that point.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking maybe 100,000 of invoices coming in still.
Great, that's good news.
yeah.
Okay, so
Alderman Sullivan?
sorry. So that 6.4 on that page, I don't want to call it this, but I'm going to call it this. It's kind of a phantom number because really 4 million of that isn't really in cash. It's
Right, it's really.
still on paper, essentially. We
It's
haven't cashed
authorized,
it
but
in.
we never cashed it.
So really, it's like you said, it's 2 million-ish. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'll be talking to Dawn about them, what they want to, how they want to not bond that. Because it was bonded for the middle school project, but they didn't go out and sell 10 million, they only sold 6. So, all right, so,
Is New Searles the last vestibule that needs to be done, or there's more?
There's Mount Pleasant.
Oh, wow.
So those are the last 2. Other than that, I think it's important that the community know that this board has put a security vestibule on all of our schools. So that's
That's
the
good.
12 elementary schools, all 3 of the middle schools,
And the 2 high
and
schools.
Franklin, well,
2 high
10
schools
of the
don't- right,
elementary
right.
school, right? But the high schools were updated as well, and the Franklin Street preschool. So that is a huge investment over the last 8 years in the safety and security of the children of Nashua.
Yeah.
So,
yes, and the Mount Pleasant Security Vestibule project's already designed. but nothing was done until a determination was made as to what's happening with that school.
And I think at this point, the alderman, last week or the week before, you guys approved the $350,000 facilities study.
Yes.
It seems like we should find out what that says before we make plans to spend more money on facilities, just in my humble opinion.
Well, that's the intent of the study, to get the intent of the study that was approved, and I think it was 325,000,
Okay.
was to get an engineering, a third-party engineering analysis of the infrastructure requirements or infrastructure status of all 20 school buildings and find out what needs to be done and when, so it can be input to the ad hoc committee that's on bonding, so that plans can be made for spending over the next 5 to 10 years.
Right.
Okay? All right. Did you want to give any updates?
I can give a quick update on Birch Hill and Main D for the MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. All HVAC systems are installed. We have gone through a first round of commissioning.
Could you just identify yourself for the?
Sorry, Matt Smith with EEI. We've gone through the first round of commissioning on all those units. About 90% of it, of the deficiencies that were found have been fixed, and now it's back in Turner's court to go back in and check and just confirm that they've all been fixed. All the mechanical's done, plumbing's done. Fire protection, the sprinklers are 100% complete. Fire alarm, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty and doing internal testing before the final fire alarm test in February. And as far as electrical goes, the only big thing that we have left is at Birch Hill, the replacement of the main distribution panels. So everything is well on its way and getting down to minor punch list items outside of those distribution panels at Birch Hill.
And the BDA systems, is that this weekend or was it last weekend?
So they did the testing on the BDA systems. Everything passed.
Before we go, because we got new people, this is for the fire department. The BDA system allows them to communicate with their radios inside the building when they're fighting a fire, and it was a requirement of the fire department. Good.
So the BDA system was installed, completed, programmed, and tested. And the fire department came back with one small request that was not a part of the original design, and that was an annunciator put at the main vestibule so that they can see that the BDA system is working properly. So that is already shipped from the manufacturer. We should receive it next week and have that installed. So once those go in, the BDA system will be 100%.
Okay. And a couple other things, when the police department did an active shooter drill at, was it both schools or just Birch Hill, was it done at both schools, active shooter?
They've been in multiple schools. I don't know what you're referring to.
They did an active shooter drill and found that the cell phone access at Birch Hill and Main Dunstable, primarily Birch Hill, was not working correctly. And I believe we approved the funding to install that equipment. Correct, Sean?
Yes, we told them to go ahead and update the quotes, because the quotes we had were 6 or 7 months old. So we have not brought those to this committee yet.
But Mr. Lassard is going to be bringing forth to the Board of Education, there are other schools that are impacted. The police aren't happy with not being able to have cell phone communication. Yeah.
So we'll look for a non-public with Mr. Lassard on his security updates that he wants.
Yeah. And the other.
There's also a update to our deferred maintenance list, even since the one you received already.
Great.
I'm adding, so we can add cell phone coverage in the schools.
But this
Won't be
is
this
for,
year, but
let's
it's,
just be very clear that the cell phone coverage in schools is for emergency responders, not for students.
Maybe a mute point if the bill goes through and up in the state, but not for the emergency police, by the way. But this was for the police and teachers for emergency access to the police department and fire department. Also,
This is different than the communication that the fire department needs? They,
Yes.
I'm assuming they work over walkie-talkies and the police need, can you hear me now?
yes, they have.
They can't all
have their
use,
own
they can't all use the
communication
same
system.
walkie-talkies?
They have their own communication system that works from each individual fireman. And it's very interesting if you want to go through that fire drill out at their site, because I've done that. If you stop moving, it sends an alert to somebody outside, and they say, why did he stop moving? So you're always having to move to make sure they know you're still functional. And that's part of that system, and also vocal communication. But that's strictly the fire department. Also, again, just for our newest member, anytime we touch a school, an older school, like we did with Dr. Chris, we have to completely replace the fire alarm system, because they've changed significantly in all those years. The other thing is, the only two schools that don't have the shooter detection system finished is Maine, Dunstable, and Birch Hill. That's sort of come out publicly.
I don't know.
We'll talk about it in non-public in one of our meetings.
Yeah.
Get the official information.
I think I want to make sure that that we are on the same board as the police with what we talk about when it comes to security for the schools. I like to hear what Chief Rourke says and then do what he says.
Yeah, it actually got mentioned at the police commissioner's meeting the other night with a member of the public there, so
Yeah.
anyway. So, any questions so far on? All right. So we also, Sean's gonna have a proposal for consultants for roof repairs at Stella Stadium in a moment, but the stadium will be totally ready by the spring. All the field turf is laid down. It's not all totally glued yet, but it's pinned down. And they'll finish that as soon as the weather gets above 20 degrees. And I found out today that the fencing that's been going in, now they're getting through that solid ground, there's something else, but the fence has been going in, which is part of the plan. Seems like there was one other thing. Also, we're having a meeting, got delayed from today, on all the activities that need to be done from a maintenance and a capital investment for Stella Stadium. And we're developing a list with Lisa Gingras, your athletic director, and Brian Conant, the park rec guy, and the mayor and Lisa Gingras, Lisa Photo are involved. And there will be a list of what things are maintenance, which things are capital projects, and who's responsible for them, when they get done. And that will be published at some point. It's primarily between the Board of Education and Park Rec, but the mayor wanted to ensure that everybody knew who was on first on each one of these items and have it in writing going forward. Also, we had some discussion at the capital improvement last night that we are probably going to put Stella Stadium on an 8-year, because the guarantee's for 8 years, that it will be on a list for potential replacement in 8 years. So the field is guaranteed for 8 years if you meet all their requirements. But that's another discussion for another day, so, because it is warranted.
It looks fantastic, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a sea of emerald green. You could see the wind blowing through the fake grass.
Yeah, the Wizard of Nashua is right in the middle.
Yeah.
So, any other questions on status of ongoing projects? So, it was funny, the police department asked me, how was the plowing at McCarthy? I said, well, we didn't get any calls from the principal, so I'm assuming it went well.
Oh,
Oh, I think the superintendent would probably get the calls first.
I want to say I have been noticing the sidewalk clearing this winter has been fantastic. I always go out and do my sidewalk in front just because I hate to see children walking in the road to get to the bus stops. And I almost didn't clear it the other day because I was like, maybe it was just a fluke that they came so quickly last time. But second snowstorm, they were out and the sidewalks were done timely and see kids walking safely to their buses. So I was quite impressed with that.
I'm pretty sure, I think they got 2 new sidewalk plows out of Surf over the past year, so.
Fantastic.
They have the equipment, the problem they always have is people. Because the people that do the sidewalks, same people that do the street plowing,
Yep.
and they can only work so many hours a day by law, so. But yes, I have
But we don't need
noticed-
them driving big, huge equipment tired
No.
into my teenage daughter who doesn't know how to navigate snow yet.
Okay, so now we'll move into, Sean, you want to do the roof repair issue?
Sure. First, we did reach out to Brendan, and he responded saying he meant to call. He's sorry not coming, but he has walking pneumonia,
Ooh,
and so he's trying to get well. I told him that.
a lot of
Get
people
back to work.
coughing these days.
So the school department, the Board of Education approved a study of, we've done a number of roofs, 5 elementary schools already, and we've already well into those repairs for those. That will extend their life for a period of time. So we had the Stolos roof assessed, and the roof above the locker room, which is actually underneath the stands, is in pretty poor shape. Like the insulation underneath the rubber is saturated, and but by spending a small amount of money, we can extend the life for that, at least for a couple of years. I've since put that roof on our deferred maintenance and capital plan. So the proposal tonight is for ARM Consulting to oversee the bidding out of the work and the bid comparison and provide a recommendation to us for the repairs. And that totals, I'm looking at this and I'm a little confused. So they put down $1,200. Then they said $175 for additional site visits, but then they put down $1,200 total. So to be safe, I would recommend we approve their proposal, the amount not to exceed $1,375.
Okay, I'll need a motion to approve contract with ARM Consultants for roof repairs at Stella Stadium, the amount of $1,375.
I'll make the motion, but I have a question.
All right, Heather made the motion to approve. Questions, Heather?
So what exactly are we getting for our, it's only $1,300. So what is the repair that they're gonna do?
This isn't the repair, this is the
Oh, that's
project
just the-
management.
Oh,
So
okay.
they'll provide a listing, a map of the roofs, and tell the contractors exactly what has to be done.
Got it.
And then we'll get bids,
And then we'll get bids
them.
for the actual repair.
hopefully have those ready for next month.
And
Not gonna do
that-
any work until April anyway at this point.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And that money was budgeted in the money that's the 1.5 million that we have.
Don't mind, I need to get this. I'm in a meeting, Gary, you got something real quick?
Turn off your mic.
Hello?
There's no phone service half the time either.
Right?
We had an issue at Pennachuck this afternoon where a sprinkler pipe apparently froze. The ceiling near the main entrance.
Where? You said.
Pennachuck Middle School.
Are you running my back on?
I don't know if we want to be public about this or not. Yeah, so we had a leak in a sprinkler system near the main entrance at Pennachuck. It's part of the old system, not the new, I don't know. Anyway, there's a frozen pipe right outside the gym, like in the main lobby, so.
Is the ghost of Pennachuck Waterworks haunting the middle school?
So when we started the middle school project, there were significant discussions about Pennachuck because it had had broken sprinkler systems before, right? And it flooded a classroom. And then several years previous to that, it flooded a whole bunch of classrooms. And so I recall at the beginning of the project, a huge inspection happening and replacing a bunch. So what happened here?
Call it a union, so a joint between the two pipes let go, and that's where the leak was. These things happen over time. I mean, they can be perfect, looking at them, there's no drips, no nothing. And then after a year later, you start to spring a leak. It's an older system. We put a fair amount of money into the system as well.
Yeah, we did. I remember.
I think the flooding issue, one of the flooding issues we were talking about was the water was coming in between the gymnasium wall and the corridor. And we had to do repairs to the roof, and the edging of the roof near the gymnasium was done under the project. But that's not this is something else.
So this is a frozen, sprinkler system.
A pipe in that system, yes.
Pipe in the system. So, how much is the repair? Is it impacting student learning? And how do we know it's not going to happen again? Like, is there insufficient insulation, or was it a joint problem, or,
That phone call was probably to give me the update on everything.
Okay.
I would say that we were on top of it. We already knew what the problem is. It should be repaired as we sit here, and it should not impact school tomorrow.
That's usually, at this point with the completion of the Pennachuck School, falls under Sean's budget. And trust me, if Gary's calling at this late hour, it's important.
Right.
Having your phone on.
Yeah.
Didn't help any, couldn't get through.
All right, so
You have to go over to the doors, and then you'll get reception.
just one other thing, isn't the roof on the press box also being looked at?
Yes, they did a study and they provided it to us. I can provide it to you if you wish. It listed all the areas that need work.
Okay. All right.
I
Did
just
you have a question, John?
I did, thank you. So I know for the project management, there are 7 items listed here on what they're gonna provide for the $1,200. And then they list out hourly services. So it's my assumption that if they have to do anything over and above those 7 items, then there could be additional charges
Right,
on top of
correct.
it. Okay.
Yeah, so, and there are other small projects that are gonna be done at Stellas that are on our budget that'll be done in the spring, including additional fencing, and we have to replace at least one of the windows in the press box that's not working. There may be some other flooring issues that need to be addressed. And I think there was some issues with the referee's room, umpire room, whatever. But, and painting underneath the stands. So all those things will be addressed. And then going forward, after we have our meeting February 7th, all of the items that need to be covered, either maintenance items that will be done by DPW or capital items that will be done under the school's request for funding will be identified. And who does them, how often they do them, and it's even down to how often they empty the trash cans. It's a pretty intensive list. Any other questions? Okay, invoices, Sean? What?
We didn't vote on the third.
Oh, we didn't vote on it? Sorry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Now, Sean.
Invoices for tonight, for Energy Efficient, Inc., for work at Main Dunstable Birch Hill, $351,888. For Harriman, Architects Engineers, 2 invoices for Birch Hill and Main Dunstable, $18,318.51. For Harvey Construction, again for work at Birch Hill, Main Dunstable, 2 invoices totaling $240,986.68. H.L. Turner Group, a commissioning agent, work at Birch Hill, Main Dunstable, and working on the new Searles design for the security vestibule, $32,376. For John Turner, our testing agency, 4 invoices totaling, there's 2 invoices totaling $2,603.63. In addition to that, there were 2 invoices that came in on time but were missed by us, the school administration. One was for $1,303.63. The other one was $2,442.26. Because the fault was ours, I told the accounts payable to go ahead and pay those and just inform this committee tonight. Page Street Leasing, 1 invoice for $105. For RAD Sports, this is for Stellos, 1 invoice, $386,950.67. And for Turner Building Science Design, for additional commissioning work, McCarthy, Penachuk, and Main Dunstable Birch Hill, $11,531.67. The project totals were, for the middle school project, $49.67. For Penachuk, the middle school, $2,268. For Birch Hill, Main Dunstable, $638,291.82. For the security vestibule project, $17,200. And for Stello Stadium, $386,950.67. Those total $1,044,760.16.
So I'll need a motion to approve the invoices for the middle school projects, $49.67. Penachuk Middle School invoices, $2,268. Birch Hill, Main Dunstable, $638,291.82. Security vestibule invoices, $17,200. Stella Stadium, $386,950.67. For total invoices to be paid from tonight's meeting, $1,044,760.16.
So moved.
So moved by Alderman Sullivan.
Can I have a question, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Let's see. Mr. Smith, down in, I know that we added 2 invoices there under John Turner, which it didn't total up to 2603. I just did quick math over here. It should be reflected in the subtotal below at 638,291. I actually had a little bit more than that, but I'm hoping that someone might, just so we can tie off the math, just to make sure it's right.
Okay, we'll double check it. The
Right.
2603.63 were the last 2 numbers there. If you took the 440 for Birch Hill and the 2163.63
Yeah.
for Main D, those 2 add up to the 2603. What I don't know that now that you brought it up
Oh,
is,
the 2 above it.
yeah, the 2 above it were the ones that were paid off previously.
Got it. Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Any remarks by committee members? No? We don't need a non-public. Do I have a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Motion is to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:38.